Welcome to A Damn Good Question, the weekly broadcast that helps you understand the top news stories with a conservative twist.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to A Damn Good Question podcast. Sitting across from me, as always, friend, co-host, sidekick, superhero in his own right, the man who, three-time world hula hoop champion.
Oh, God, yes.
And third richest man in the world. Mark?
There's so many things you just tend to forget about some of that.
Oh, I know.
The hula hoop, that was fun.
I bet it was. I was shocked to see that. Well, I wasn't shocked, knowing all your great talents.
Don't get shocked.
And joining us today, who are you? What do you do?
My name's Nick Kipp. I work for the railroad, and George's like a father to me, and I wanted to be on the show today.
Thank you for coming.
The choo-choo train.
The choo-choo train.
Isn't that Pete Bennett?
Pete Buttigieg?
Buttigieg, favorite thing, trains?
Choo-choo trains?
Well, I can't even tell you if that guy's in charge.
Or getting a train ran on him?
Oh man. It's going to be a good show. I can feel it already.
South Bend, Mayor Pete.
It's
always a good show.
I guess they actually think that he has a chance.
He doesn't have a chance.
Yeah, I know he does.
He doesn't have a chance.
The
Democrats are throwing everything they can at the wall to see who sticks, and they're all like those squids that you used to have as a kid that you throw in the wall and they'd flip down. Yeah, they're all.
Real quick, who do you think has the best chance right now, sitting today? Who will you think would be
their nomination right now? I do not believe it's Gavin Newsom. I don't think he has a chance because
there is an answer here.
I think I hate to say it, but I think it's going to be AOC.
I'll go a little bit with that, but I'm going to throw another name out.
Throw it.
Could be Shapiro. Although he's Jewish.
That's why he won't be, because he's a Jew, and
that would be interesting.
Then they won't do it.
He's the one who probably is best qualified.
I agree with you 100%, but he won't. He's in some real trouble, by the way.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he has put up a privacy fence. The guy who was against the border wall, right, puts up a privacy fence at his home and puts it well into his neighbor's yard, trying to annex some of his neighbor's property.
Oh my!
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well, some of these people like to throw their weight and their power around just to see where it'll stick and how far they can go.
I know. I do.
Oh, I know. Hula hoop champ. You ever see the movie based on the hula hoop?
No. There's a movie?
There is, and what's the name of the actor who has his own salad dressings but passed away?
Oh, Paul Newman. I
believe Paul Newman was in it, called the Hudsucker Proxy. Or that's the invention of the hula hoop. Yeah. It's a really fascinating movie, to be honest. It's pretty good.
Some of those little movies are actually very, very good. One of my favorite movies, an awesome movie called A Pyromaniac's Love Story.
A Pyromaniac's Love Story.
Watch it.
Right on.
It's good.
Right on.
So little movies sometimes really are good.
One of my favorite movies that makes me laugh and smile and always makes me feel good, that I can go back and watch 1 billion times. Big Trouble in Little China. I love that movie.
That's Dolph Lundgren, right?
No.
What am I thinking?
Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell is where he fights the guys in Chinatown. They end up under the streets, and there's so many great one-liners in that movie. It's not even funny. How'd you get up there? Wasn't easy.
Okay.
Great stuff. But first, before we move on, let's have a little moment of sound for the loss of a great American, Mr. Chuck Norris. Yeah. Air Force vet.
Did you hear Trump's reaction when he first heard?
No.
It was very good.
That was it?
Awesome reaction. And that was a cold reaction. He had not heard yet. And they just asked him off the... that always can get you tripped up.
Yeah.
You could be thinking about something else. And I don't know what there's nothing else going on in Trump's life. So why would he have anything preoccupying him right now?
Yeah.
But anyway, they asked him cold, and it was very good. He was It was good, very good. But yeah,
they were
Norris.
friends.
Yeah, they were
actually. So
they were.
Chuck Norris always had a smile on his face. I remember watching movies him when I was young, like him and Bruce Lee, and some of the early movies before Bruce Lee died, and it was always quite entertaining. And then my favorite movie by him, Lone Wolf McQuade.
Oh,
starring Chuck Norris, was Lone Wolf McQuade. Code of Silence is very good. There's some good stuff.
Texas Rangers were
Texas
always like that.
Ranger. Yeah,
Eyes are upon you.
yeah. It's pretty good stuff. 86 years old. 86 years old. What a good life. I would love to make it to 86 and be in that kind of shape, which I'm not, obviously.
You're going to be lucky if you hit 68.
I will be. The men in my family are not known for their long lifespans, because I come from poor families, and poor families usually don't have long lifespans. My grandfathers both died very young. One died of a heart attack in his early 40s. Another one died of black lung in his early 40s from working in coal mine, or early mid 30s. And my dad dies of an accident at his own house. We do not have a very good track record of long lives. So, like I said, if I can make it to 70, I've done a good job.
This
here.
isn't even close to what
I know it's not.
Like a pressed laminate.
Yeah, pressed laminate. But what do we want to talk about now that we've got Chuck Norris out of the way?
I don't know why you want to talk about it. Is there anything going on? Iran?
So I want to talk a little bit about Iran because we have this young man here with us, and I want to get the perspective of some of the young people. You hear a lot. I mean, you hear a lot of this conflated BS, or from my perspective, it's BS that this is all about Israel. So tell me what young people are seeing and what young people think.
Well, my opinion is somewhat going to differ a little bit from most people within my generation. But if I had to look at it from their perspective,
Give me yours.
Well, in my perspective, Iran has that shit coming. Am I allowed to cuss in here? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No,
Iran,
not really.
Iran has it. Iran has it coming. You don't run your mouth like that and then expect not, for something to not.
And honestly,
happen.
it's not running the mouth. It's what they've done.
Right
Since 1979, take American hostages, kill American soldiers, attack shipping lanes, international shipping lanes, making IEDs during the Gulf War and making sure that they're all over Iraq and Afghanistan, killing our troops.
Yep.
Attacking allies of ours.
Propagating terrorism. Yeah.
Propagating terrorism all around the world. Cyber attacks. Most people don't even think about all the cyber attacks they've done to the United States. Companies in the United States.
Well, that's a war you never see, right? Like that's like
until they lose internet.
Until they lose internet, right?
And their information ends up on the dark web.
On the dark web.
Yeah.
I have noticed I haven't been getting a whole lot of scam calls since the war in Iran started. It's been quite nice.
Kind of amazing.
That's interesting where that stuff comes from. But a lot of people don't know that Iran was pretty much a Western world before Muslims took over, which happens to a lot of countries over there, it would seem. But
all around the world. Look at England.
Yeah, it's getting really bad. I mean, just drive up to Dearborn. How bad it's getting up there.
I have to from time to time.
Yeah. But for I would say like amongst my friend group and the people within the scope of my generation, a lot of them are indifferent to the war. They don't think about it at all. If that makes, they just really don't care. I mean, I care. My brother cares. A lot of my inner circle friend group cares. But like the people of our age, if you asked them what was going on over there, they couldn't tell. Like they couldn't tell you one thing. I could tell you that like another guy that I knew, when we sank that Iranian frigate with the submarine, which was badass, by the way, dude. That was so cool, dude. Just watching that bad boy come out the water.
Yeah, that was cool.
He shared a clip of a picture of a cargo ship that was attacked by Russia, I think back in 2015. And the article on it said something about how the U.S. Navy claims to have sank an Iranian frigate, but really it was this cargo vessel. It took 2 seconds of a Google search, and I screenshot and I sent it to him. I was like, oh, so you just like spreading misinformation. How they put a whole video of it,
Yeah.
like clear as day what they were
Yeah.
doing, and you're just gonna try and lie about it. So
Yeah.
it seems like a lot of them. It wouldn't matter what side of the aisle I think that Trump stood on, whichever side he was standing on. A lot of them would go stand on the other side.
Yeah.
So like, if for some weird reason he backed Iran, everybody would hate Israel.
I'll be 100% honest. If Barack Obama would have done this, he would have had my full support.
Right.
If Joe Biden would have done
as
this,
well.
he would have had
Right.
my full support. If any president ever in my lifetime would have done this to Iran, they would have had my full support. Iran has more than had it coming, and I do not believe for a moment that they could be allowed to have a nuclear weapon.
I agree entirely. Yeah.
Not a bit. And this morning, I was reading this morning before I came in, because now that I check the news before I come in, thanks to this war, Iran is saying that we hit their enrichment facility. Oh, no, it was for peace. They only wanted nuclear power for peace for their people. Then why do you have an enrichment facility that's able to enrich uranium to like 60% already plus? That it was all bull. It was all bunk. There are countries that have nuclear power, but the enrichment is not higher than like 2%, because that's all you need for domestic power.
Right.
So it was all bunk. This is all BS. But why do you just think it's because of Trump that the hate goes towards Israel, or do you think there's something bigger going on with your generation?
Well, there's a lot of.
There's the whole lie that Jews run the world.
If we tinfoil hat it right now, there's a lot of people like throwing around the term anti-Semitism, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't realize that Muslims are also Semites. I think this is just tinfoil hat, just me right now. I think like Muslims and the way Islam is spreading. I think that's propagating hate towards Jewish people to like help spread. If that makes
absolutely.
Sense. That's in my personal opinion. That's what's
course.
going on.
What do you think, Mark? You've been awful quiet on this.
Well, you know how much I love Islam.
I do.
And Islam is a major, major problem. And it is amazing. It is amazing. The absolute lies that cult propagates and how big it is and how it keeps getting bigger. And this is a major problem. These are evil people. And I tell you what, stop it. Ben Shapiro's and all these people, there are good Islamic people. No, there aren't. They're all misled. They may be good people, but they have been deceived.
Yeah.
And they need to, as I said, Jesus. and I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to start happening. People are going to look at this cult that they have and see what's really written in this, and see who Muhammad really was, and the kind of people they are, and what they spread. And most of Iran is not Islam.
No.
Secular.
Yeah.
I'm worried about a civil war in Iran now. I really am. The Kurds are going to be coming down from, is it in the north?
Iraq. They're going in from Iraq.
There's another group of people that I forget the name. I just heard about them. They're not the Kurds. They might be coming. There might be.
I think we're going to get some weapons into the hands of people that
but they don't know how to use them.
That they only need small arms. They don't need anti-tank weapons. They don't need things like that. That's what we're for. Mm-hmm. That's what our airstrikes are for. They don't need things that they can use to attack on other countries. They only need things that they need to stop other guys with guns. That's all they need right now. And we'll fly drones over top of them for protection while they do their deed. I think if the prince gets back in power in Iran, I think we can see a huge transition to get Iran out of the problems that they have now. Yeah, are there going to be some problems? Of course, there are going to be some problems. Are we going to nation build? No, we're not nation building. I think we've learned from. Well, we should have learned a long time ago. Yes, we had success nation building Japan back, but Japan wanted to be built back up, and Japan wanted to have normal relations with the rest of the world after World War II. Iraq, not really. They just wanted to go back to their, fighting in their tribes. Afghanistan, same thing. They just want their tribes to fight each other because, I'm this and you're that. I'm Shia and you're
Well,
they just want to fight.
Iran is a bit the same issue. It's very tribal.
It is.
And it's going to be interesting how that country gets itself back. And I tell you what, it may end up becoming 2 or 3 different countries. They may have to divide it up.
What a shame.
And, that's the way it happens, too.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, you shouldn't threaten to nuke the rest of the world.
Well,
probably.
Yeah, probably not.
But at the end of the day, you got to remember the people in charge of Iran before this all started were horrible.
Absolutely.
They
Absolutely
killed
horrible.
35 or 30,000 of their own people.
Yep.
Just weeks before this all started. And that's
just for saying that they wanted
just
change.
Weeks before it.
Yep.
They were killing their own people way before.
They killed the 18-year-old Olympic wrestler.
Yeah.
They hung him yesterday or the day before. Just punish him for standing up and saying that he wanted change. Cowards. These people are cowards.
I don't know if you guys saw that that newscast they're doing. Is more like left versus right, and they were having an argument. And there was this black lady. I don't remember her name, but she was going on. She's like, well, if the strikes on their enrichment facilities that we did, last year, if that was meant to be a deterrent and it didn't deter them, she's like, I don't understand how this is going to help. And the one dude's, he leans up to the mic. He's like, because all the people we wanted to deter are now dead. So
pretty much.
I don't think you can get any more effective at deterring somebody than that, if you ask me.
I agree.
I think there's going to be a lot more death, and it's going to have to be because I don't know what the numbers are that support the Islamic.
No, they can go to another country. They can go to Iraq, Afghanistan,
they're probably going to
Pakistan.
they're probably just going to be.
What a shame.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is a shame.
I don't cry for evil people to die. I just don't.
And it's they're going to have to die, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And they will, and they have, and they are being killed. So I don't know how many are left. I mean, I don't know what they got. And these people that they do have left are all splintered. And I guess they've been reaching out to them by phone. You heard about that?
Yeah. Oh, yes. They're calling them. Israel's been calling them on their cell phones, which tells you how good Mossad is, right? Mm-hmm. That they know where they're all at. They know their cell phone numbers and call them and say, hey, give up now. Walk away. You can still live. If you do not, and they said a bunch of them are begging for their lives and saying, "Okay, where do you want us to go? What do you want us to do? How do we end this before you kill me and my family?" But let's move on to the next subject.
Okay. Well, the next subject, odd subject, law.
Ooh.
Law.
One of my favorite lines. Man, my brain just catches lines from movies, but. The very horrible version of Judge Dredd that Sylvester Stallone was in. His one good line in that entire movie. If you know Judge Dredd, he would never take his helmet off, let alone take his helmet off for the entire freaking movie. That's the whole point. But the one line that he had in the movie, "I am the law."
Is that the one where he was like, they unfrozen?
No, that's Demolition Man. That was good. Demolition Man was good.
That's one where he's like cussing. He's getting like the ticket so he can. Yeah, okay.
So you can use the toilet. So let me give you an example of two different things that happened this week when it comes to the law in this country. So in Colorado, Boulder, Colorado, you had a man that they went to arrest for selling drugs in the park, open drug use, and we're talking meth. Okay, we're not talking the legal stuff that they have in Colorado like pot. And they went to arrest the man. He ran. He got in a fight with one of the officers. They rolled into a creek where the man ended up on top of the police officer, used a rock and bashed him in the head.
Oh.
Caused a severe concussion. The officer was lucky that he didn't get knocked out then. The officer was able to continue to fight. And then once they got him in custody, the officer passed out from the injuries. Okay? So think about it. If he would have passed out then, that guy would have finished bashing his brain in with that rock.
The adrenaline kept him alive.
The adrenaline kept him going, kept him alive, kept him... the fear, the adrenaline. This guy's been arrested on multiple offenses. He now assaults a police officer. The prosecutor asked for like a $20,000 bail, secured bail, so there's no getting it down to $200, 10% or whatever, $2,000, getting the 10%. The judge lets him out on a $100 bail. Assaulting a police officer, selling drugs. This guy's got a criminal rap sheet, of course, a mile long, and they let him out on $100. Go cross country. Man, now I can't remember what state it was in, but this this teenage black kid was part of a robbery where they used a gun. And the judge goes at it. They were looking for just probation. They were asking for probation for the kid. But the judge sees that also while he's been in jail, he's been in multiple fights in jail. He likes to threaten people. He likes to terrorize people. He's used a gun. This judge gives him 25 years in prison. Because she says, you obviously have not learned your lesson, and I'm not going to give you a chance to do this to somebody else. I'm sentencing you to 25 years of prison. The 18-year-old kid's parents erupt into hysteria in the courtroom. Which one of these is right? Or are they both wrong? Nick?
I think locking him up for 25 years is right.
What do you think, Mark? You're more into the law than any of us here, actually.
Yeah, and I wonder, that may have been a little bit extreme, but it seems like it's probably right. But the problem is, how do we make justice? And this has always been a problem. This is not anything new. How do we make justice across this country equal? Because it isn't. I mean, I tell people, and literally, this is a good story to prove it. I said, you walk into a restaurant, you go in front of everybody, and you shoot somebody and you kill them. Right in front of everybody in the restaurant. What happens? Everybody says, "Boy, you go to jail for the rest of your life." No, you don't.
No, you don't.
If you get arrested, there are many people that scenario has happened, especially during the Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
All the people that died during that have never even been questioned, let alone arrested.
So it wouldn't shock you to find out that the man in Boulder was also black, right? And that the judge is just given leniency. We especially since Black Lives Matter, this has become the standards of, if you're black, you need to be given forgiveness because it's not your fault. Mm-hmm. This is your fault. Of course it's your fault.
Right.
You are a person. You're an individual. You have responsibility. It is not state. You are not the state's responsibility. You're not your mom and daddy's responsibility once you turn 18 and you're able to vote and go to war. This stuff is absolutely insane. And it's insane that these judges, these liberal judges, a lot of people like to say these Soros-backed judges and prosecutors, but this wasn't the prosecutor this time. The prosecutor wanted this guy put away until he could go to trial because he should not be out on the street because obviously he's violent, obviously he's a drug dealer, obviously he's a repeat offender. We need, in my opinion, law reform in this country, and we need to go back to this 3 strikes you're out rule. When FBI crime statistics can show that if you lock up everybody who's been arrested 3 times, and the crime rate in the United States would drop by 95%, wouldn't this be a nice country again? Wouldn't this be a place where you wouldn't be afraid for your kids to be outside playing again? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to walk through a park at night, ladies, and not worry about being attacked, raped, murdered, assaulted? Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, but it starts at the top, and we're not even arresting the criminals. It's called Congress and the Senate. We're not even arresting them. Where are the arrests?
I think some things we can just skip to the guillotine on. I don't think we need to arrest anybody.
Right in front of the Capitol. It would be a fun place.
Tar and feather, wood chip. It is the future. We could also use a wood chipper.
But when we have these criminals on TV every day, just talking. I mean, why aren't there been any arrests?
There needs to be.
This is all on Trump.
There needs to be.
I don't know why they can't arrest people.
They
just talk, and nobody gets arrested.
The quote unquote Republicans. They have no spine. They have no backbone. They have no. Because they're afraid. They're afraid. Oh, if I do it to them, they're going to do it to me. They're already doing it to you. They're already doing it to all of us. And like I said, if a bartender can be arrested for letting somebody drive while being too intoxicated by over-serving someone, then a judge should be held responsible for every criminal they let out and the actions that they do. Every single time. Every single time. I read this morning right before I came in, because like I said, I've learned my lesson. There was they let a guy out, a violent criminal out, because it was they wanted to give him a second chance because he was young when he first committed his first crimes. So they let him out. They let him on probation. 364 days later, he murders a woman. This is what you get for being soft. This is what you get for being soft. Like Tucker Carlson goes to Qatar and says, "Oh yeah, you can walk around Qatar. There's no crime here. Why? Why is there no crime there? Because there are major punishments for crime, like there used to be in the United States. Only 40 people were put to death last year, in the United States. That number needs to go way up. And you're right; they should be public couple public executions, few hangings, few guillotines. You watch how quickly people stop.
And
you set up like food trucks and stuff, have a beer tent, sell tickets and stuff. And it
used to always be a big thing.
Online, pay-per-view. Oh my God!
Oh yeah,
the money would balance the budget
and eliminate crime.
Yeah, and eliminate crime.
There is nothing that makes you more hungrier for a beer and a hot dog than watching somebody swing.
Nothing.
I can't believe Indiana. We were like one vote away from having the rifle team or rifle squad here named Death by Firing Squad. We should have Death by Firing Squad. It came that close because what they say like the vial of stuff they use for
the
50 grand.
The guillotine is just so much easier, right?
Is. Well, you got to hoist it up.
Okay. You can press button it. A little bit of electricity, hit the button, and cuts the electricity.
I like engineering.
Okay, that's fair. And we never sharpen it.
Guillotine Mark II.
Never sharpen it. And Mark's like, it could. Who cares? They can't feel pain?
One of the worst ways to die, and it's biblical, by the way, guys. One of the worst ways to die is stoning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sure. $5 a stone. I'll go pick them from the field right now.
Yeah, everybody
brings their own stone. Right. Still happens in part of the world.
Right? Yeah.
It does.
You think we're animals?
For things including
do it. Yeah.
And things including adultery. So think about that. Think about that while you're running around.
Same-sex activities. As I said,
same-sex.
We have to start with the major criminals in this country, and that is Congress and the Senate, and not so much. We know Trump's a criminal. We love that about him, but
any businessman is a criminal.
The rest of his so-called staff and everything that just aren't arresting people. Unbelievable. So, yeah.
I think Dave Chappelle said it best during Trump's first administration. He was like, he's a criminal, just like everybody else. The difference between him and every other politician is he'll walk right out of the White House, look you in the eyes, tell you what everyone in there is doing, tell you he's doing it too, and walk right back in. He's the only one who'll be honest about it.
Yeah, like he was with Hillary on the debate stage.
Why didn't you change the tax code?
Yeah, because you won't. Because you and your rich donors all use the same tax codes that I use.
You all benefit from it. Why shouldn't
all benefit? Mm-hmm. You all benefit. But what's next, Mark?
Oh, I don't know. IA? What is that? That's
AI, I think is what you're into right now, Mark. Yeah.
No, it's IA. Intelligent Artificial. Artificial intelligence.
Well, what do you think about artificial intelligence being a...
It's getting kind of, I used to think, especially back when AI first got popular, people, older people would fall for it all the time. I used to think like, wow, they need to get with the times. And now it's getting to the point, man, there's some videos where I have to sit and look at it for a good 10, 15 minutes. I'm like,
you probably shouldn't watch those videos.
Yeah. Well,
There's a lot of videos about the war that are so fake.
Oh, so fake.
And so much propaganda.
They use some video game footage to try and use propaganda as it's real war footage. And I'm like, I can't believe so many people are buying this. It looks fairly authentic, but you could still tell that it's a video game.
It's footage. Actually that video game they use is called Arma, and the military actually uses Arma for training.
Yeah.
So I tell you, artificial intelligence, you can still tell, but I tell you, we're very close to not being able to tell. So I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I got a feed on my Facebook page, says Chuck Norris dad. I couldn't believe that. I had to go out and I think you were saying that you had to check something too. I mean, I can't trust anything Facebook
No,
says.
oh God, no.
Nothing, and Facebook is probably one of the better ones. I mean, all these other things, X and TikTok and all this, you can't trust anything it says. In fact, quite opposite is how you should read what they're saying. But yeah, and where are people supposed to get their news?
Yeah.
And I guess you have to come to Damn Good Question every week to find out what the truth is.
Listen,
I think
3-time world hula hoop champ.
Yep.
I think Jackie Chan's died 15 times since I've been alive. That's not. It's hard to. You can't just like.
Why don't we have memes that say Hillary Clinton died?
That'd be way funnier.
He's.
Well, no. Let's not do that because I'd get more upset. I'd be like, oh, it wasn't
I want her
true.
to stay alive. She needs to suffer.
Listen, I just want to tell everybody right now, I did not shoot myself in the back of the head twice.
That's right. I am
if
very
that happens
happy.
to me,
Right.
yes, I want you to know that I do not believe that Hillary Clinton has ever killed anyone in her life.
Do you see? And I guess it's actually Israel, where Bill was almost trying to push her out into the traffic.
All I could think of, Bill was like, end it down.
That last inquiry she was in, man, they had her hollering like a stuck pig.
Oh, yeah.
She was denying every second, and then they pull out the photos.
I've never met Jeffrey Epstein.
Then they whip out the photos, and she starts screaming and acting. She's like, "Oh,
the guy stayed at the White House 17 times. How did you never meet him? Oh, he only showed up while you were out of town.
Well, he was probably in Benghazi. That's why she's never met him.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Okay.
Well, I think
you have something to say.
so. As much as AI is a thing, and you can't put that genie back in the bottle. And I know that there's a lot of data centers and stuff going up, and I know people are really, they're furious about it. But think about, once again, and I'll say this: a lot of the misinformation, a lot of things that you're seeing, I guarantee come from our enemies. Because you think China or Russia want us to put up data centers? You think China or Russia want us to win the AI war? So you don't think that they put a bunch of money into trying to make sure that this stuff never happens? That they rile up people and try and get people to say, no. I'm not a big fan of them either, right? But you have to have it. We have to win. We cannot come in second in this war. And I relate it to the Cold War. We showed the Soviet Union that we were going to win no matter what. And we used our economic might to do it. And now we have to use our technological might to show China that we will win this, so that China cannot use it, because they will. You think, yes, people in America will use it for bad things, but we're way better than letting China run this world. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. So let's talk about the strangest political dynamics in the United States right now. The Democrat Party. The party that says it's fighting for the working class is bending over backwards for people who aren't even supposed to be here. If you're a struggling American citizen, you're working 2 jobs, you're paying taxes, you're watching your grocery bill explode, you might assume your government's top priority is you. Wild, I know. But instead, what do you see? You see cities like New York turning 4-star hotels in Times Square into migrant shelters, paying roughly hotel rates with taxpayer money, while your rent, your property taxes go up, and your neighborhood services get cut. You see officials bragging about compassion, while spending tens of millions a month to house people who cross the border illegally in places most New Yorkers could never afford to stay for a weekend. And if you raise an eyebrow, you're not concerned, you're heartless, you're extreme. You're probably one Facebook post away from being called a monster. Because in today's political language, enforcing immigration law is cruelty, but ignoring it is compassion. That's a neat trick. It's like you're You say locking your front door is hateful, but having strangers sleep in your living room is inclusive. Now let's be clear, because this always gets twisted on purpose. This isn't about hating immigrants. America is a nation of immigrants, legal immigrants, people who followed the rules, waited their turn, did the paperwork, paid the fees, learned the system, and came here to build a better life. Those people didn't sneak in, they earned it. And when politicians blur the line between legal and illegal immigration, they're not compassionate. They're being dishonest. Because rules matter. And if rules don't matter, then what exactly are we doing here? Imagine applying this logic anywhere else. Hey, I know you didn't pay for the concert, but I really felt like I belonged there. Honestly, security stopping me is oppression. That's how systems work. Exactly, except apparently at the border. Now here's where it gets even more bizarre. The same political class that tells you we absolutely must fund housing and services for illegal border crossers, we have no choice, will then turn around and say, sorry, citizen, we don't have money for your local services, your veteran programs, or your crumbling infrastructure. In New York City, the city locked in contracts so large that watchdog fund companies were buildings for thousands of unused migrant hotel rooms, hundreds of thousands of dollars effectively wasted, while residents were told to just understand the emergency. So they can manage the emergency hotel empire, but fixing your subway station, too hard. And while this is happening, who actually lives with the consequences? Not the politicians, as we've talked about before. They don't live next to the packed shelters. They don't send their kids to school absorbing new students overnight with no extra resources, where in New York, 167 different languages are spoken in the school system. How's anybody supposed to learn that way? They don't sit in the emergency room when it's overwhelmed. Regular Americans do. In Chicago, the city merged migrant shelters and homeless shelters into one system with thousands of new beds, expecting
easy for you to say.
Promising the same support regardless of whether you were born there or if they are in the situation they're in. Sounds nice, unless you're a homeless veteran who's been on a waiting list for years. Mm-hmm. Watching brand new facilities open up only after buses from the border arrive. That's the part that really gets people. It's not just the policy, it's the attitude. It's being told that caring about your own community somehow makes you a bad person. That wanting secure borders is the moral equivalent of not caring about human beings. They want secure borders is the most moral equivalent of not caring about human beings. That the only acceptable position is unlimited patience, unlimited spending, and zero questions. Meanwhile, the rest of the world, many with stricter immigration systems than ours, is watching us like we're running a live experiment in how fast a country can undercut its own laws. Because when you incentivize illegal entry, you don't get less of it, you get more of it. That's not politics, that's human behavior. People respond to incentives. If the message is cross the border, claim asylum, you might end up in a New York City hotel or a guaranteed sheltered bed in a major U.S. city, then more people will come. Not because they're evil, not because they're insane, but because they are sane. And then what? At what point do you admit that the system without enforcement isn't a system? At what point do we say compassion and order are not opposites? Because here's the reality nobody wants to say out loud. A country without borders isn't a country. It's a suggestion. And America didn't build a suggestion. It built a nation, one with laws, citizenship, and rights that actually mean something. Those things only work if they're applied consistently. And here's another twist. Even in fights over healthcare, Democrats are accused of secretly trying to hand out benefits to undocumented immigrants. But when you look closely at what they're actually proposing at the federal level, The formal programs and tax credits still legally exceed undocumented people, or exclude undocumented people. So instead, the real action moves to blue states and cities, where local leaders proudly design workarounds, expand local benefits, manipulate IDs, state-funded coverages, so they can say, we're doing what Washington won't. While citizens stare at their tax bills and wonder who exactly their government works for. With 186 Democrats opposing the measure this week to deport illegals that commit welfare fraud, what are taxpayers supposed to think? So yes, we should be humane. Yes, we should treat people with dignity, especially the American people. Yes, we should have a legal immigration system that is fair, effective, and generous to people who share our culture. But generous doesn't mean anything goes. And compassion doesn't mean citizens come last. Because when leaders constantly posture for the cameras, posing outside shelters, promising care and compassion first for new arrivals, while longtime residents feel ignored, they're not sending a message of kindness, they're sending a message of confusion, and one that says, you do not matter. And confusion doesn't build trust, it erodes it. So maybe it's time for a reset. Secure the border, force the law, fix the legal immigration system so it actually works for immigrants and citizens, and stop pretending that expecting your own government to put its own citizens first is somehow radical or racist. Because it's not. It's the bare minimum a country is supposed to do for its people. Because a government that can't or won't prioritize the people who follow the rules eventually loses their confidence. And once that happens, you don't have an immigration problem, you have a trust problem. And that's a lot harder to fix. So how do we turn this immigration stuff around? How do we get normal people who actually believe that everybody has a right to be here, understand that their right does not supersede the right of the American citizens? And today, that is our damn good question.
Listen to that. All the studio audience is participating.
The
in
unison
that.
there was.
Let's go with you first, Mark. What do you think?
Well, hey, I'm going to go back to the original thought. When we have criminals running this country, and that's not just Congress, that's not just the Senate and Congress. It is our local government. It's our state government. These are bad people who do not have skill sets. And they get elected because they're good at getting elected and manipulating people, not because they have skill, not because they're the most qualified people to get problems solved.
Right.
Okay? I mean, I just look at this little community here. We got an issue coming up, And I won't mention what it is, but you know what it is. And it's obviously who's more qualified than the other person. Be interesting to see who wins. The popular vote or the actual person who's skilled at the job.
And we still plan on bringing that skilled person in here for interview here on Damn Good Question.
It really does. And people say, well, I want to fix it. No. As Jordan Peterson and everybody else says, so got to make your bed first. And we got to fix your communities first. Get on the school board. We've had many conversations about that. Get on your school board. Get on your, get in your local elections. Care about what's going on. Show up to meetings about taxes and stuff like that. And start hiring and start voting in good people to run your country, your city, your county, your state, then your country. Trump can't fix everything.
No, nobody can.
Now, maybe in his third term he will be able to. Okay,
mass arrests and executions would fix a lot of things. What do you think, Nick?
I think when we look at the damn good question as a whole, we as a people here in the United States, one of our biggest issues is terms, phrases, thoughts, and ideas get watered down for the sole principle of trying to make a point. We don't want to enforce immigration because we consider it unhuman under the guise of racism. But that's not what racism means. The closest word you could use to define that is prejudice. But when you have the statistics and the proof and data to back up that they're bringing in crime, they're bringing in drugs, they're
bringing in disease,
or overwhelming our welfare systems, or overwhelming systems designed for other people. I've watched, in my line of work alone, George, I've watched 2 whole hotels close because the government comes in through the FEMA and forces this package onto them where they basically pay twice the rates of a room for these illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
But then the illegal immigrants just absolutely ruin the rooms. You know, if I was given a room for free and I didn't have to pay for it, you'd be able to bounce a quarter off the bed every day. You'd be able to eat off the floor because I'm not paying for it. But they don't think like us. And so the reason I say this is because the company that I work for, they'll come in every year, they'll tell this hotel, we'll give you $15 million if you make sure you have 20 rooms available for us every day. And they're like, yeah, we can absolutely do that. And then it gets to the point where it is no longer safe and unfeasible for us to stay there. And my employer says, hey, we're going to pull out of this contract because you're no longer meeting the requirements we need. And it's not the hotel's fault. The government is here forcing them to take in these illegal immigrants.
Yeah.
But, back to my point, racism, I never once said that white people were better than an illegal immigrant.
You can say that.
Oh, I'm not going to. No, I get it. No, but
on this show,
racism,
you can say that.
for the sake of the conversation, if I were to say X individual can't swim, that's not racism. If I were to say white people are better than X individual because they can't swim, that is racism. Racism is believing that your ethnicity, your religion, the color of your skin makes you superior to another individual. When we go look at crime statistics, and less than 13% of the population is responsible for over 52% of all violent crime in the country.
You're way low on 52%.
Well, that's the last thing.
It's over 75.
I looked like 8 years ago. It's been a while, but
and actually, and we talk about it on here, if you narrow it down, it's only about 4%. Because it's the males from the age of 14 to 40.
You did talk about that last episode.
And it's stunning.
And it's
stunning.
That's not racism. That's not even prejudice at the point. It's just fact.
But we need to bring this point up. You need to understand that there are midterm elections and stuff coming up. And you need to go out there and vote. Because the people who shut the whole world down during 2020 kicked anybody off the internet and banned people if they put that FBI statistic on their website or on their Facebook page or on their Twitter account. You got banned because they want to censor you. And if those people ever get back in power, you better believe you're going to be censored. And you're going to be censored like you cannot believe. They will shut you out of everything. Because they'll have the power again, and they will go right to these tech companies and tell them, you're going to start doing this again, and if you don't start doing it, we will shut you down because we'll use the whole power of the government to do it.
Yeah, I got a 30-day ban for hate speech for literally, I commented the exact URL link to the FBI website.
Yes.
And I got a 30-day ban on Facebook for hate speech.
Yes.
During
it's not
that time
hate.
Frame.
It's not hate.
All I did was post statistics.
And it's FBI crime statistics.
Right. It's literally the government.
It's literally the government. But if you cite the government, you were being banned. I understand why everybody wants to come to the United States. But you cannot import the third world into the United States and make and make America better. All you make it is third world. Because these people are not bringing values. They're not coming to assimilate to the culture. It would be different if people were coming here and assimilating to the culture. Instead, they have now started making enclaves of their own culture inside ours. Dearborn, Minneapolis, New York. It's insane. This can't be allowed to happen. You can't function this way. You can't go, okay, you're not allowed in that section of the city because that's not your culture.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. It's absolutely, it has completely gone off the rails.
And as I said, it starts locally.
It does start locally, and I'm like you. A lot of us are okay. You giving me a place to stay for free? I'm not tearing it up. I'm going to show the appreciation of living there and taking care of it. because I want to stay there as long as I'm getting it for free.
Right.
I want to stay there, and I want to show them that I'm going to be a good steward of this, right? Thank you for taking care of me during my time of need. I'm going to do my best to make sure that this stays very nice and pristine, the way that I found it. Maybe even better. One of the things that I like to do when we go out fishing or we go out hiking, pick up some trash and take it with you.
Absolutely, I do that every time.
That's what being, in nature is about. Go out and do these things. Leave it better than what you found it. Instead, when I've been in places where I've seen these huge illegal immigrants and populations, like when I was in Colorado a couple years ago, and walking down the street, we're working because we're working outside at the time, and watch these guys come out of a liquor store. A couple legal immigrants come out of a liquor store. They drink their stuff. First thing they do is they take it and they throw the brown bag right on the ground and keep walking. And then you see them pass it back and forth a few times, and as soon as they're done with it, smash right on the sidewalk and keep walking. When you looked in the spillways for the rivers, it was trash everywhere. Trash. And it's like, how do people live this way? Why would people live this way? Why would you want to do this? Even if you're here illegally, why would you want to do it to the place you're living? Because you want to make it the place you left? Why would you want it to be the place you left? Didn't you leave it for a reason? And I've said this a billion times. If the 20 million people from Mexico who are here illegally went back to Mexico, they could fix their own country. Get together, organize, fix your own country. Make your country what you want it to be. Don't ruin somebody else's. Find good leaders. Yeah, they're like, oh, but the cartels run everything. The cartels cannot stand up to 20 million people who want to change.
Yeah.
It would take less than 3% of the population of any nation to overthrow its standing government. Let alone
it only
the
took
cartels.
3% of this country to fight off the British Empire.
It did, absolutely.
And that's the truth a lot of people will never tell you.
Yep.
3% is all that fought in the Revolutionary War. 3%. Most people didn't even know the war was going on.
Right.
They heard snippets when they could, but they went about their lives as normal.
Yep.
Farming, doing the things that they had to do.
And you know, a lot of that, the way it still is.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't care or know what's going on in this world. They're too busy working their own jobs and doing their own things.
We are too busy creating the civilization that everyone else wants part of and then wants to tear down. Oh, they hate us, but then they come here and they love the freedoms that we have, but they hate it because that's not how they want their wives, their daughters, their kids to be, because they don't want them having this freedom because they were raised where they had no freedom and their laws say that they're not allowed to have those freedoms. They hate it.
And you go back to where you have those laws.
You go back to where you have those laws and enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any good news, George?
I don't know, but I think first, before we get to our good news, we should probably thank our sponsor, the good old friends at Towhead Plumbing.
Well, okay.
Got plumbing problems? Look no further than Towhead Plumbing, your local plumbing experts. Need a new faucet installed or an old one repaired? We've got you covered. Is your toilet giving you trouble? We specialize in toilet installation, replacement, and repairs. Thinking about a new garbage disposal or replacing the old one? Call us. Need a new dishwasher? We handle dishwasher installations and replacements with ease. And don't forget those outdoor hose bibs. We repair them too. For fast, reliable service, call Towhead Plumbing today at 704-813-5653. Your home deserves the best, and so do you.
Hey, we got a question. Give it to us, Ken. The Strait of Hormuz?
Yes.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's at its very narrowest point. It's 21 miles across, but they have to go right down the middle of it, the ships do, and that leaves it over 10 miles to the Iranian shore. That leaves 10 miles. You can't even see the shore if we put rockets and machine guns on the American and Israeli ships. That gives them 10 miles to shoot anything that comes at them. Or they can move the ships, say that that lane where they got to go and move over away from the shore, and it gives them a little more shooting time.
Well, so they all have to stay in within a certain depth and a certain parts of the shipping lane, right?
Depends on the draft
and it's
of the boat.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's international waters that way.
It's only international waters right in the 2
Right.
mile right down the center.
Exactly. So they have to stay pretty much in the international waters unless somebody on the other side gives them permission to come into theirs. But some of the things we can do is what we've started doing, like completely bombing and destroying everything on that coastline so that there's nothing on the coastline that can start firing toward these ships. We can start putting drones up all the time when we know ships are coming through. We can escort them with ships that have plenty of artillery to shoot down anything that's coming their way, and they're going to run out of all the ability to fire at any of these ships very quickly. We've already destroyed most of their rocket launchers, missile launchers. They still have lots of drones. So if anybody can imagine how much worse this would have been if we had waited 3 more years. If any of this could even be possible in 3 more years because of how quickly they were ramping up drones, ballistic missiles, their rocket capability, and how they were trying. They were getting everything ready so that they could control that completely through intimidation and fear. And the minute they said that they had a nuclear weapon, they automatically had control of that because nobody could ever push back against it. Then they would make all the rules, because if not, they would use the threat of launching a nuclear weapon. So it had to be done now. But you're right. We got to try and open up some of those national waters over there, let ships get a little farther away so that they're not so close to be able to be attacked. They also send these little speedboats, as fast as they could possibly go. But we can really counter those with Coast Guard, and Coast Guard ships that we use around the United States. The Coast Guard ships can take those out so quickly with the guns that they have on them. But we got everything over there. We went a lot faster than what we wanted to because we didn't have everything in place when we first started. We're sending more things over there now. We're going to be better prepared. But I really do think, honestly, when I look at the situation, I think that we're probably maybe a week and a half away from everything going. That is done. I think we're going to send. I do think we're going to send Marines in. And
from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, buddy. That's what they were made for.
I think we're going to send them in to make sure that the uranium that they had spun up to 60% is captured and taken care of and taken off the board so that they never have it again. I also think that they're going to make sure that any of the centrifuges are completely destroyed by getting eyes on them to make sure that is done. I think Marines and I think some agents from Israel are going to make sure that happens. And we're going to make sure that weapons and materials for the people who want to retake their country back, get those materials, and then we're just going to disappear into the nether. We're going to Kaiser Sose.
I heard they brought Oliver North back for that. Actually, I heard they brought him. They dusted his jersey off.
I don't see this lasting through the summer. It might last another month if things don't go the way that I hope they go. So it might last another month or two, but I think by the time summer comes around, I think oil prices and gas prices are going to drop pretty steady, because once that threat is gone and ships can and we take care of the Houthis as well, who are another proxy group of Iran threatening international shipping lanes again, when all that is done, oil prices, because Venezuela's back online, Iran's oil will then be able to be sold in international markets. The price of oil is going to go down. The price of gas is it's going to drop quickly. When you got all these things coming back online that have been out of play, I mean, hell, in a week we're gonna have Cuba. They stormed last night. They stormed the Communist Party headquarters in Cuba last night. They haven't had electricity in a week because their grid is completely failed because they have no oil that they were getting from Venezuela. It's not going there illegally anymore. So, and they are negotiating right now with the United States. I think they're negotiating letting them leave and staying alive and letting other people take over Cuba. So,
this is a territory.
Yes, I 100% agree. Cuba should be like Puerto Rico, should be a U.S. territory. That close to us, that way they're never going to be a communist state again. There's never going to be people putting missiles there or people training.
The next spring we could go for a vacation.
Oh, man. Like I said, I put Venezuela on my 3-year plan for vacations because Venezuelans going to be back in the fold. And then Cuba, Cuba might come up before that.
I still think I want to go and be on the Mediterranean over there.
Yeah, we keep the Strait of Hormuz here. Just little. I think it's so funny because
20% of all international shipping goes through there.
This is literally what the United States Navy was created for.
It is.
A lot of people don't understand. Our Navy was disbanded after the Revolution and was recreated to fight Muslim pirates who were messing with our boats in the Mediterranean.
Correct.
The whole document they exist on, it says to fight piracy on the high sea.
To fight piracy on the high sea, and why was it the Muslim pirates? Because they were capturing Europeans and turning them into slaves. More Europeans, as we'll say again for the 1,000th time on this program, more Europeans were taken out of Europe as slaves and put into Africa and the Middle East than black slaves were sold into slavery throughout the world.
That's right.
During the same amount of time.
The U.S. fought in 2 wars against slavery.
2 wars.
Where are my reparations?
Yeah.
Why am I not getting paid back for that?
2 wars. We and we'll say it again for those of you who don't know the real history of slavery. No white people went into Africa and captured people and sold them in slavery.
They would have died.
One tribe took over another tribe and sold them into slavery. Same thing the American Indians did here. They didn't necessarily sell people into slavery. They'd kill off the men, take the women. They'd kill off all the men. Sometimes eat the warriors. Once again, these are the things that people don't understand. There wasn't this noble savage. They were savage. And I speak of that as being part Native American. They were savage. Okay, and where was slavery still legal in the United States after the Civil War? Indian reservations. Indian reservations still had slaves for years after the Civil War. Okay, so just remember all this. These are important things. But let's get to our good news story of the day. We got 2. One that's near and dear to your heart, Mark.
Oh.
So your girl Caitlin Clark is going to get paid more money to play in the WNBA. That looks like they're her new collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah.
She's going to be able to make millions of dollars playing in the WNBA.
Well, she's making millions.
Is that for all of them?
Shoes.
Is it just her?
No, it's so yeah, she makes like $17 million a year in endorsements, which is way more than what she's ever going to make playing basketball in the WNBA. Right. But they signed a new collective bargaining agreement. You can outplay your rookie contract if you become not all-star but all NBA team during your rookie, you get a pay bump. If you there's all these incentives, but then you get there is a cap on their salaries because there has to be. And that's part of their collective bargaining agreement, but they're all going to get paid.
Who's going to pay for this?
The men, because that's who pays for the WNBA. The men's league, the NBA is taxed to form and pay the salaries of the WNBA because they don't make money.
I never watched a WNBA game until Caitlin Clark.
Yeah. Nobody did.
Never once in my life had I ever seen
nobody.
one.
They never had a sellout crowd.
And then when she started playing, I'm like, man, this lady's really good. So
there's a couple of them that are really good,
they're
especially
actually some good.
They can't survive with the men, but they're really good basketball players.
Like beach volleyball.
Love it.
I've seen every episode, every season.
I'm a huge fan. Yep. Yeah. Of course, I'm watching the women and you're watching the men.
Yeah, but it's 2026, George. We can't. I feel like we're defining too many lines here.
No, too many lines. Okay. But the other good news story: March Madness, baby, it's here.
Yeah.
And it's been a wild ride. Not so much wild. It's been pretty much chalk, really. I mean, the number 1 through 4 seeds have pretty much won everywhere and in every bracket and have moved on. But we're going to see what happens this weekend. That way we get down to the Sweet 16 by the
a lot of good basketball today.
A lot of good basketball. A lot of exciting things can happen.
What's the team we're rooting for again? High
Point.
Go.
High Point. Who beat Wisconsin? That was like the major upset. There goes a Big Ten team down again.
Did you guys make brackets? No brackets.
Man,
this year?
I
didn't make one.
I usually bet and have things. I have been so busy and so lost in my own head lately. It hasn't even been fun.
I like to watch this weekend. That's fine, but I tell you,
Next weekend's a
next
blast.
weekend it really.
But if you want
really
upsets, really, this weekend is
there's a few teams
you got to see it or you're not.
I'm caring about this weekend, but it's going to be who makes it to next weekend. That's all that really matters. The Sweet 16 is where I'm really
Sweet 16 down to the lead 8. Yeah, so it should be
Final
should
Four.
be fun. Should be a lot of fun. Hey,
And next
and the
weekend.
weather has finally turned around here.
It has.
So yesterday we hit 71 degrees, and of course, what do you hear? What do you hear when you turn on and start looking about the weather? Oh, we're having record highs, and it is due to climate change.
Global warming.
It's like-
Yeah.
But you have to get it to Greta Thunberg, right?
Yeah.
Greta Thunberg, who has been fighting this war against climate change for and that oil has to go away. Who is right now on a flotilla to take oil to Cuba?
Yep.
Can we?
What happened? What happened? So she wanted all fossil fuels to be gone, but now she's going to take fossil fuels to Cuba?
She's not really she's just communist.
She is a communist.
She's not pro climate change. She just wants to be communist. She wants everyone to be communist.
She is a communist.
I mean, because really, if we live in a capitalist country, but everybody's broke and there's food lines and everything, we're basically communist. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I like her hairstyle.
Woof.
Woof.
Woof. Her
She looks like a
hairstyle.
Swiffer mop, I think.
So,
but-
Woof. Wow. And I blame the parents. I honestly, I 100% blame her parents.
They're probably communist too.
Her parents need to go to the front of the line for execution, and just to let a little girl become this insane and to ruin her entire life on all these false premises should be ashamed of yourself. Mm-hmm. But hey, we want to thank everybody for coming to a damn good question. Nick, do you have anything else you want to say before you go?
No, it was a pleasure being on here, gentlemen. I love listening to your show every morning, and I share with all my friends as quick as I can. It does make my day hearing you guys talking. It's nice to see where the magic happens.
Where the magic happens.
Magic.
I said many times before that I have lots of kids, and then I have lots of kids who aren't my kids, and Nick happens to be one of those. Nick grew up around our house. And there is no doubt that at times we have butted heads, but you always butt heads with people you care about.
That's right.
Because you want better for them. You don't just let them be destructive. And if you see something that you hope can help them in the future, you got to tell them. You got to tell them. And there's times I've been in the wrong, and I have said that I've been in the wrong. And I appreciate the love and support that I get from this young man.
I think you're the man who taught me to admit when I was wrong. So,
well, thank you.
It's a very valuable thing to have in life. Absolutely.
It is. See, I wasn't wrong.
Right, yeah. That time.
That time.
That time.
But hey, we want to thank everybody for joining us. And until next time, God bless. See ya.
See ya.